Okay, thanks. Thanks for joining me. This is your video 3 in getting started with AutoCAD. And what we're going to be doing today is kind of cleaning up our user interface a little bit before we begin making modifications to our drawing template in Paperspace. So remember before we talked about the tabs in the bottom, there we have a model space tab and a D-size layout tab. The D-size layout tab, if we click on that again, that shows us what's available in model space. In Paperspace. But what we have here is a viewport window which allows us to look into model space. So just for the fun of it, let's just do this. Let's just draw something. Let's just draw a rectangle. Just for the fun of it and to get started with things. If you go to the rectangle button, which is up here on the draw portion of the toolbar under the home tab, on the ribbon, if you click on that and just draw that rectangle out about as such, and it don't have to be real specific, but if we go to the D-size layout, you'll notice that that rectangle is actually drawn itself over here. It really hasn't drawn itself on Paperspace, but what we have here is a viewport window. If you click inside that window, which is a blue line, blue rectangle, that is a window into model space, which is in the background. Model space is infinitely large. If you take the middle mouse button, scroll back and forth, you can do a certain amount of scroll commands, zoom commands with that. That is not available here in Paperspace. What it does is it scrolls in and out and allows the paper to get bigger or smaller. But this blue rectangle is a viewport window into model space. That's kind of the way it works. So let's do this. Let's clean up our model space template here. What we have here, this item down here in the lower left-hand corner is called a UCS icon. Let's turn that thing off. That kind of gets in the way. We're always going to be drawing an X and Y coordinate system. Y is always going to be up on your screen, and the X is always going to be horizontal on your screen, so we're going to go ahead and turn that off. We have a navigation bar display over here. We're going to turn that off too. And very simply, if you just click on that, it'll go ahead and turn itself off and won't reappear. But the view cube, which is up here, we're going to go ahead and turn that off too. A lot of these items are very specific to 3D modeling. Since we're going to confine all of our AutoCAD experience to the 2D world, we're going to go ahead and turn those things off. So let's go to the navigation display bar and close that. That won't come back. UCS icon is a little bit more tricky, so we're going to come back to that. Let's go ahead and turn off our view cube. The way we do that is we go to the options menu. There's a couple ways to get to the options menu. If you go to your application menu, scroll down here and look down here to like the middle on the bottom, you'll see a button called options. That's one way to get there. Another way is just to right click on your mouse, scroll down to your on that short menu there and go to options here, and this gives you tons and tons of options. Again, just like with AutoCAD, we're not going to go into a lot of this stuff. We're just going to go into the basics just to get us started so we can be productive in the shortest amount of time. So if you go down here to we have files and display and whatnot, a lot of tabs on the top. Let's go to the 3D modeling tab and go over to this lower left hand corner where it says display tools and viewport. We're going to turn off 2D wireframe visual styles and the 2D, okay. So the display the view tube, we're going to turn off the 2D wireframe visual style. That's what that means. And down here in that section called display the UCS icon, we're going to turn that guy off too and go to OK. So now we should have a fairly blank screen, and it's okay. We don't have any grid in here to show us around. We're just going to be drawing out in space. Just pick a point in space and draw. What we're going to be doing in Paperspace is adjusting our viewport in order for us to allow us to look into model space while we draw. So what we have is a very clean universe here with nothing but whatever we draw in here. One more thing I want to turn off before we move on to modifying our title block here is turning off the UCS icon here. Notice that this UCS icon looks a little bit different than a model space UCS icon. This is trickier to turn off, and this kind of shows you the legacy background that AutoCAD has. It started its program with a lot of keyboard commands, and that's what we're going to be doing to turn this UCS icon off. And UCS stands for User Coordinate System, by the way, UCS. This is your command line. That's a potential test question. The command line, if you scroll in here and scroll up and down, and that shows you all the commands that have been available that we've been putting into the program from the very beginning. There's a lot of stuff that's gone on here, even though we haven't even hardly touched the surface. In AutoCAD, we haven't done anything here yet. So it puts it in order. The very thing in the bottom is the newest stuff. So we're going to type in a command here, and it's called UCS icon. All one word, and type enter. And it's going to give us a couple different choices here, a number of choices. You can see down here, instead of it being on, which is the setting it's on right now, we're going to type in yes, yes, you can believe it, we're going to type in off, and it's going to turn it off. So let's go ahead and take this and move that back down. You don't have to do that necessarily, but I like to show a couple lines on the command line down here. And you can move that up and down. It's like a separate Windows window in a way, just by taking your icon, your cursor, and putting it over there. You can see the icon, which displays different sections of the windows that could be stretched, between that interface between both of them. So, yeah. Anyways, to belabor that a little bit, this is our drawing template right now with a rectangle we drew in model space, and it's pretty well clean for now. So let's go ahead and close this video, and we will see you in video 4.